Congrats on the film, so good. First, I wanted to talk to you about your ideologies of Ceasar. He's a character that kind of hangs over the entire film, but you both have different interpretations of who that character is. How does that work between the two of you? And if you were to sit down in a conversation as your characters, what were the things that you have in common and different?
What's interesting is that we did have that conversation as Raka and Proximus in an improv that we were doing in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And it was interesting for me to be able to come and try to explain to you. I think I was trying to explain to you why I'm in such a rush. You know, because it's like interpretation of any words that are written or spoken. It can go so many different ways, and we see that today. And it's unfortunately it's the cause of a lot of our problems.
I would love, if Raka were able to come to Proximus Ceasar's for dinner, you know what I mean, and sit down and have a chat about like the way of the world, because like these two diametrically opposed, yet neither one necessarily wrong.
It's a great short.
That would be the great short.
That.
Like we should.
Because it's so opposing.
It's so much. And stories and fables tend to last longer than the actual truth of what happened, because it's how we remember things and how we interpret them in our day-to-day lives, even our own personal memories. Like they get shaped to sort of fit the moment. And I think that the notion of the oldest elders decree is that apes shall not kill apes. That's the basic rule, and we can get through this because of what we had to go through to get to where we are. We can't backslide. So that would be such a great, and then coming from where you're coming from, that would just be such a great conversation.
Well, and Raka, you teach with knowledge, and I would say Proximus teaches a lot more with power and force. How do you think that helps with understanding your character?
Well, for me, it's just that for Proximus, he's incredibly educated. He's about humanity. He studied humanity from the inception of Homo sapiens on the planet Earth. He studied the victories. He studied the failures. He thinks he could do it better, but he doesn't have a lot of time. He doesn't have time to luxuriate about all of these facts. He knows these facts. He doesn't have time to teach all the apes because we're trying to attain this information before humans attain it. Because if the humans attain it, probably going to end up back in cages again. And so that's why he seemed so aggressive. And so he's running out of time.
In order to progress and move forward, to keep us from being what human beings, keep us from repeating the mistakes of human beings, we've got to figure out how to get to move together and get along and coexist. Now, mind you, 300 years from down the road, it's like a 300-year-old game of telephone. Things are not going to be as accurate, and the humans and that they must have built this place and there was a sanctuary. You're kind of having to make stuff up. So as an archaeologist, collecting, in the same way that I'm learning about the remnants of human beings, but it's my own piecemealing it together.
What is the thing that Raka says about apes and humans living together? Because that's an interpretation.
Right.
The time that he's calling back to, they were being experimented on in laboratories and they were in zoos. Right. So he doesn't really understand the fact that human nature, unfortunately, we're kind of jerks with the way that we treat each other, the world.
And ironically, the way that you receive your information without giving anything away makes so much sense as opposed to the way I receive my information about the past. You get it the way you get it, which I totally, in the sense of the film, you're like, oh, okay, of course that's why he would be that way. I get it the way I get it because I'm getting it the way, and of course that's how he's gonna. But understanding that he is from an order that is and having an understanding that he's one of the last people. One of the last, disciples of Ceasar, and having to carry that legacy and the work, the work continues through this.
But now I am Ceasar.
Shameful the way they take his name.
They're both
they messed it all up.
Great performances.
Thank you so much.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, as you can tell.